everybody. It is Thursday, April 18th. This is This Day. I'm Michael Taylor. Welcome to the program. You're looking forward to the weekend. We're going to have some nice weather, right? Spring is finally here. Had some nice weather all week and it's continuing the weekend. I'm excited about that. We'll tell you about that in a minute. But first, let's tell you what we got on this show right here today. We are going to be welcoming United members, Sue Quam and Allison Bach. They're going to be talking to us about the landscaping that goes on here in the village and some of the major changes that are coming to that landscaping. And speaking of that, not only United has some changes coming up, but also Third Landscape Committee is looking forward to the changes that they have coming up. California legislators signed into law Assembly Bill 1572, which will ban the irrigation of non-functional turf grass in public spaces and HOAs. That's coming up in a couple years, and that is a big deal around here because we got lots of green spaces, lots of beautiful lawns that are non-functioning, right, that nobody uses. So, to that effect, the Third Landscaping Committee wants 2 residents from each of the Gates 11 and 14 to act as advisors to support the committee throughout the turf reduction process at those areas to ensure residents are kept abreast of important developments and changes to AB 1572. If you're interested in being a volunteer for that, you can contact Megan Felice over at her office in the Landscaping Services Administrative, and she can do that via email or by the phone number on the screen. You can ask her questions or just say, hey, I'd like to volunteer. Either way, they'd love to hear from you, so go ahead and do that. Let's take a look outside. And we have some beautiful weather coming today. We got mostly cloudy this morning, but it's going to clear up by about lunchtime. You go out to lunch, it might be cloudy. By the time you're done with lunch, it's going to be clearing up to partly cloudy skies. We're going to high of 72 today. Pretty nice. And then we're going to get a little bit of cooling for a couple days, but really temperatures are about hardly noticeable. And then Sunday, we got a nice warm day for some reason. I don't know why. A little bit of high pressure might move in, but it's going to be mostly sunny on Sunday, 76 degrees. Then we get a little bit cooler. So we're in that flux time of year where temperatures are going colder and warmer until we hit summer. Then we'll have some real complaints going on, 80s and 90s. But until then, we have some nice temperatures. Get out there and enjoy that, and no rain in the forecast. Let's take a look at our sunrise and our sunset while we're at it. We have a great photo here by Ben Gibbons over in Corona Del Mar. And that is just a beautiful shot up there for overlooking the jetty and all that. Sunrise this morning was 6:16. Sunset tonight is going to be 7:25. All right, we got if you want to send us a picture, before we do that, if you want to send us a picture, we'd love to see it, just like Ben sent us. You can email us at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Make sure you include your name and where you took the picture, and we will put it in our sunrise sunset segment. Okay, now we got a few meetings to tell you about, and when we come back, we'll be talking to folks from United about landscape. Stay with us.
Whether you are physically active, playing pickleball or golf, or have trouble with daily activities, Trishula is thoughtfully crafted with your needs in mind. Our unique formula can help provide relief when you need it most. Apply a small amount to your hands, knees, neck, shoulders, or any other areas of discomfort. Gently rub in a circular motion until thoroughly dissolved. There are no artificial chemicals, just natural plant compound to nourish your body. Endorsed by athletes, loved by all, there is nothing like Trishula Organics. Don't let pain control your life. Take action today.
Hi, my name is Rhonda Plains. I'm from Fullerton, California. I absolutely love Dr. V. I am very happy to drive from Fullerton to Laguna Woods. I was having an issue with my vision. There was strobe light going off in my eye. Dr. Vias was able to get me in to see him the next day. Once I met him and he diagnosed the problem with my eye, I felt very comfortable with him, and I'm just really happy that I found him.
Hi, my name is Gary Russell, and I recently have moved to Laguna Woods Village. At Live Smart Technologies, we specialize in 3 things: home automation, simple security systems, and home computer networks. We are knowledgeable, very affordable, and genuinely want to help you. In the coming weeks, we will be talking more about how these amazing systems can benefit just about everyone. We provide free estimates and will schedule an on-site walkthrough at your convenience. Give us a call.
The California Attorney General, Ron Bonta, issued a consumer alert on hearing aids sold over the counter or online. Quote, while hearing aids sold online or over the counter may appear to be more cost effective than traditional hearing aids, they may not properly address your particular hearing loss needs, or they may be outright scams. He goes on to say, get checked by a licensed hearing professional and beware of misleading claims. Call Advanced Ear Care today for answers on over-the-counter hearing aids and options. Tell them Stuart sent you.
And welcome back. We're going to be talking about landscaping for the most part with folks from United. They have an update for us. We want to welcome Sue Quam and Allison Bach, President and Vice President of the association there. So thanks for joining us. And we got a little presentation to go through. But the big overall picture is that there's a AB 1572, I think it is, and we're going to get rid of a lot of grass belts that are just kind of sitting there. They look beautiful, but take a lot of water, take a lot of maintenance. So what's going on here?
Well, first of all, let me say that, of course, in United, landscaping is a big deal. It's a big part of every annual budget. This year in 2024, we're spending $5 million on operating expenses, which means the normal maintenance of our landscaping in United. And we're also spending another $1.4 million in what are considered capital improvements in landscaping. So it's a lot of money that we're spending each year, and that amounts to $74.70 a month for each manor each month. And it's a combination of our landscaping plus our portion of GRF landscaping. And this is a lot of money, but we're also having to be aware of what may be coming down the line in future requirements from the state.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of what we do is dictated by the state, which has an interest in water and pollution and air quality and so on. So that's the story of maintenance. It's a shifting
Absolutely.
game.
Ever changing. And Sue, I know you have a lot of stats and a lot of stuff that we can go over too.
I do, and so we'll just try to work our way through. I just wanted to say that 7 years ago I moved into the village. And one of the reasons that I moved here was that it was so pretty. I mean, you could live anywhere. But to me, it looked like a giant Monopoly board with lots of trees and grass and just a very beautiful area, and that maybe Walt Disney had a hand in designing this. So, so then I just enjoyed it. And then we went through 3 years of COVID, and then things changed. But so I wanted to get more involved. And so one of the things that I did was I was on the landscape committee, and this year I'm the chair of the landscape committee. Allison is the chair of maintenance. So, so what does landscape do? So they have to administer the program, they do improvements and restoration, and we have a nursery that is very important to us. And they also do a lot of the mulching. So all of the trees that get trimmed and things like that, taken down, they go to a mulching center. And then we use the equestrian center to supplement that with their deposits. So that
fine contributions.
Yeah, their contributions to get it going. So they do a lot. They also do pest control, and they maintain trees. So if you go to the first PowerPoint here, it's, as Allison said, we pay about $75 a month for this. And so when you look at this, United has, and this is going to be important to understand this, is we have 138 acres of turf. That's a whole lot of turf. And that is being noted in this new legislation. And where do we go from here? We also have 75 acres of shrubs. We've got 23 slopes, 23 acres and slopes. And so, that's a lot to maintain. That's a lot for us to do. So we have to then say, okay, so we've got all of this. How do we support it? How do we get this done? So you buy service level agreements, and I didn't understand this because I wasn't on the board before.
Right.
But you get what you pay for, and so you try to balance your budget, and then it's set for the year. We are set for this year, and there's not much more that we can do about it. For our shrubs And our shrub beds, we can only go out 4 times a year to clean those shrub beds.
Right.
That's 3 months, every 3
And
months.
that's that level you're talking about, whether like,
Yeah.
for instance, I have a cleaner come once a week or once a month. Oh, well, that's gonna be within
Right.
what am I gonna budget for, right?
Right.
You're gonna spend to get the results.
Absolutely. And so now we're starting to set our budgets, and we need to know what people want. We've heard a lot of complaints, we've heard a lot of praise. And so, what's real? Can we go from 4 to 5 and make that a shorter time period? So there we are with that. So let's move on to the next slide. And that is on electric equipment.
Sure.
And so the state, as Allison said, the state mandates what we can do and what we have to do. And, whether we want to or not.
Right, some of the choices are made for you.
Yeah, absolutely, they are made for us.
And so electric equipment is going to be phased in as those loud motorized motors are going to be phased out over the next few years, right?
They will. And so anything that has 25 horsepower or less, it now has to be battery operated.
Okay.
So that's a big deal, because it changes the infrastructure. Now it's better for our environment, we think, with the loudness, with the noise and just
Emissions.
Yes, that sort of thing. So they said 1 hour of operation of a commercial leaf blower can emit as much harmful exhaust as driving 1,100 miles in a new passenger vehicle. Okay, so now we're trying to address that.
Yeah.
So what do? Did we have the infrastructure to do this?
Right.
No, we did
Right.
not.
And
so
so
that
those changes sound good, but they cost money to have happen.
They cost money. So you have to get new transformers, you've got to get new wiring, and you have to build. What our landscape department decided to do was to do, a huge wall, and of course put in electrical current so that we can charge. And I said, why didn't we use solar power? And they said, because they're out during the day and they'll be charged at night. So that doesn't make any sense. So, we're always trying to be cutting edge. Can we go there? But on this one, no, we cannot. We just can't do that. So they did testing on this, and because it's new equipment, and it may not last as long as what we had hoped. So you've got to change them out at least 3 times a day. So that's quite a bit. Okay, so if you want to go on to the next one, it's called Greeniest Training. And so what we're trying to do is train our staff. And by that, getting them the safety information that they need, and also trying to satisfy our customers with how should they edge, how fast should they go, how should they be handling the equipment.
Becoming green geniuses, huh?
Yes.
Great, portmanteau word, isn't it?
Yeah, so we heard from residents and we've heard from staff, and we're trying to implement this. And there are over 100 modules to go through. So they do it 1 day a month, and actually not for the entire day.
Right.
A module a month. And so it takes 30 minutes to an hour to do. But I really hope that this will help both our staff and our residents.
Yeah, it gets everybody on the same page in terms of like,
Right.
well, I
Right.
trim it this way, I like to do it this way. So everybody understands the standard, then there's
Right.
consistency, right?
Yes, absolutely. So if we go on to the next page, that's our urban forest management plan. And this was a very big deal. We had, several years ago, the Canary Island pines were caused a huge uproar in our community. And some people were pro canary pines, no matter if they were diseased or damaged. And others were like, we've got to use common sense here. We can't be taking canary pine trees out just because they drop pines, and that sort of thing. So so we needed to get on board with this, and we created an ad hoc committee to work with Kurt Weeman, who is our director of field operations, and he's very good. I feel privileged to get to work with him and his staff. They're very good. So we found out we had how much was it?
$71 million worth of trees
Yes.
just
Wow.
in United.
Yes.
Yeah, the study showed that the replacement value
Right.
was 71, and of course it's an asset that we have to take care of.
Right,
Right.
So
right.
$71 million.
It is a lot, and so we need to do this. And so again, our service level agreement said, when we first started this, we will divide those trees out as to when they should be trimmed and when they should be looked at.
Right, because we have such a hodgepodge of
We
trees
do.
from all over the
Right.
world in Southern
Right.
California. It was kind of a
Right.
blank landscape, and so you
Right.
got this one should only be trimmed in the spring, this
Right.
one's a winter, you know, and those kinds of
Right.
things happen.
Yeah, 3
Or-
years, 5 years,
Right.
not
Yes.
at all,
Yes.
taken out.
Don't
yeah.
touch it.
So for the first year, at the beginning, the hope was we could do it, on a schedule of 1 to 5 years. We realized that it was, if you do that, that costs more money. So then we went from 2 to 6 years. And then, most of that works. But we get people coming into the committee and saying, please, we need to trim the tree. It's got a lot of tree litter and all of that. And we will listen to that and we will try to help them. But if you advance that schedule, somebody else doesn't get served
Right.
that is on that
Right.
cycle. So maybe we need more money in this area, so those are.
Tell them that, and then I think, okay, we'll wait every year.
Yeah, with another year, I can get the rake out.
We'll be okay.
Yeah, so then we're now up to what you had talked about.
Right, AB 1572.
1572. And so before this bill passed, we had really been working on our irrigation system to try to make it more efficient. They've just done a marvelous job with this. And they've also tried to do turf reduction. And you get some rebates for the removal of this. It certainly doesn't cover the cost.
No.
Not by any stretch of the imagination. But we were well on this road trying to get this done. Then AB 1572 appeared, and it was like, oh my goodness, they were saying that if the turf area is not functional and it's just for prettiness, just to look out the window at, that sort of thing, then you're going to have to use non-potable water to be able to irrigate this.
Right.
United has access to no non-potable
Really?
water.
Okay.
Third has access to some, and I think they have 2 gate areas, but they can talk about their area. I want to talk about our area. So, so then it's like, well, what do we do? This is very serious. So we are working as a group to get a plan together. We're working with the city. We're working with the El Toro Water District. We're trying to get this, a plan in place to try to address this and to increase the functionality of our land so that we don't have to take out huge swaths of grass.
Right.
So, what would that look like? It would look like these passive parks, setting up more benches.
Right, so a little before and after pictures we had
pictures.
here. Right?
Okay, so.
So
do you
now,
wanna-
and the other thing is about that is like there's so many things to consider now that people didn't consider then. Like, okay, we replace this, we need to worry about fire, we need to worry about the kind of plants that are going in there, and those kinds of things. You don't want to have the succulents. So there's a whole kind of discussion about, well, what goes in there? Is that a rock garden, so that way it's a good fire barrier, or you want something more aesthetically pleasing, the artificial turf, and all of that
No artificial.
is money. So there's a big bump up going to be happening in the next
Exactly.
few years in terms of what's going on in the transition, right?
We are very concerned about this, and we're working on a plan to mitigate this and to increase our functionality. So I don't know how much time we have.
Oh, we have
So
plenty of time.
Oh, we have plenty of time. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Let me just jump in and mention that one of the mysteries, of course, with state legislation is often the legislation is stated, but without a lot of particulars about how they want it done and who's.
And it never comes with funding.
No, that's guaranteed, absolutely.
Unfunded mandates.
Unfounded mandates, that's the name of the game. And so it becomes a testing process over the years. And people make suggestions, they may try to do something and see if the state objects and so on. So it's kind of a game that gets played with legislation to determine exactly what is the intention and what are the limits. So that's kind of where we are in a lot of ways. And we have our lawyer working on it, and I hope that we will get some definition, or at least proceed with a reasonable strategy
Right,
that minimizes risk and cost while still conforming to what's required.
Yeah. I mean, does it sometimes feel like you're just trying to read the tea leaves?
Oh, from Sacramento, yes, the Sacramento tea leaves. Yeah.
And I really wonder if they understood the financial impact that this would have on the communities.
Right.
It's not just us.
No, it's the whole state.
It's the whole
Right.
state. And, you know, so this impacts a lot of areas, a lot of HOAs. We're just very big. When you go back to the beginning here, we've
Right.
got 138 acres in turf, we've got 75 acres in shrubs, and, you know, a total of 236 acres. That's a lot.
It's a lot to handle. But now,
Yes.
are you also talking with the folks at Village Management and Golden Rain Foundation? Is it a coordinated effort for your group?
You know, we're just starting on this.
Okay.
And so it will be, you know, it absolutely will be.
Right.
And I know that we all use the same staff.
Right.
And people want different solutions in their areas. They also have different needs. They're lucky enough in Third to have potable water.
Right.
And, or non-potable water.
Right.
And in a good portion of their area. We just don't have access to it. It's on the other side of El Toro. We've talked with them, and they're just, is it the capacity or the ability to get it over to us? So it's like, well, I wish they would have taken that into consideration in this legislation before they
Right.
said, you
Right,
know,
the access is a big deal. If you don't have access
Access,
to the
right.
non-potable water, you know, and the
Right.
reclaimed water is a big deal, and those have to be separate pipes. So if you don't
Right.
have it, they're trenching, and that's a whole yet another
Yes.
giant expense for you to say we
Right.
want to go that direction. Well,
Right.
that comes with a monster price tag, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
and stacking up all of these decisions that have to be made and facilities that might have to be built or converted in order to comply, again, it becomes a lot bigger than just this one little piece of legislation. And for a community like us, being a cooperative, 55 plus, you know, population, there's going to have to be some wisdom applied to some of these state regulations, one would hope.
So the next steps, where are you guys at right now? If like what you're looking at, and to get people to know where you're at and where you're headed.
We're starting our plan, and we will share more as we know more. And so what I'm really pleased about is that this is a very high priority for our village and for United. So our CEO is well aware of this. It's a major focus within the landscape department.
Right.
Our board is looking at this very closely because it's now budget setting time for the next year.
Right.
Right.
So just how far do we need to go? How much can we do to make the land that we have be considered functional? This only applies to non-functional land. So what can we do to ensure that it's understood that good portions of this are functional?
Can you change the designation up? Now this is
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to be
Yeah.
squirrely
Yeah,
about it, but
yes.
now this is a Frisbee park, and so we use all this space,
Well,
you know,
yes,
and we
you
put a couple
sound-
baskets out there.
You sound like a lawyer. And that's exactly what's being considered.
It's only $200 an hour for my
Right.
consultation
If
fee.
we, you're cheap, but yeah.
You're reasonable.
But if you put a bench, does that make it a functional turf? If there's an area for dogs to walk, is it now
Right.
a functional?
Right, it becomes
so
like a leashed dog
Right,
park where they
yes,
can go out there and people are going on the
exactly.
grass.
Right, right, yeah.
And
yeah.
that's currently happening now.
Right,
This
yeah.
isn't something that we're changing. You know, I have a dog and a half. I watch my neighbor's dog, and so I consider I have a dog and a half. And I love them both. They're very cute little girls. So, but you see people out there walking all the time and using all sorts of the property. I also see people having now after COVID, I'm so grateful to see this, they're having happy hour out on the lawns.
Bring
You
a
know,
chair.
with their chairs, they take their chairs out. They have potlucks out in between their buildings. And so I would really like to see us get more into that again and encourage people to go out and really enjoy this beautiful area.
Yeah,
that we
it
have.
also gives you guys an opportunity, not to be on the negative side of things, to reimagine what the community could be.
Right.
Because if it's a beautiful space that no one's using,
Right, yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
it's a wasted
yeah.
opportunity perhaps in some ways, right?
It
Yeah.
is, it is. And, you know, this was built as a premier village for active residents. And we have a range of people who are very active to those who are getting older, not able to do as much, but they still want to enjoy their environment. They still want to go out and be able to sit on the lawn and talk to their neighbors and to do this and that. So I think we've got options, but we are just starting, and we don't want to rush willy-nilly into this and say we're going to do this or we're going to do that.
Right.
We need a structured plan. We need to get the community to understand what we're facing, and we also need to see the powers that be. Is this something that how do we comply with this?
Yeah,
Right.
we do have until 2029. That's the
Yeah, so
stated
you got a
date.
head start.
Head Start, exactly. And right now, talk about head starting, we're working on the 2025 budget. And one of the things we'd really like to see is adding that 5th cycle of maintenance. We have 4 cycles a year, and given the amount of rain we have, everything grows. And so maybe we need that extra cycle. So for trimming, for cultivating, for mulching, and so on. And we'd like to see that built into the 2025 budget.
Right.
So.
Yes, we would. I would very much like to see that, because it's as I said, the complaints that we receive are normally like we're going to be there, in another month.
Yeah.
But when it's a 3-month lag, that's a lag.
That's a lag.
And then you also get people that says, please do not touch my flowers that are blooming right now. Then they die, and then they call back and say, why
haven't you trimmed my flowers? What is
why
going
aren't
on?
you cutting my flowers and my bushes? And it's like, because this is what we agreed to pay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, we're not going to pave Paradise to put up a parking lot, but we're going to see some changes at United and all the other
Yes,
associations as well. Sue and Allison, thank you so much for joining us and
Thank
filling
you,
us in on
Michael.
this obviously very complex and layered planning
Yeah.
that's going on here.
Okay,
Thank you, Michael. Thanks.
All right, you're watching This Day. We'll be right back.
Are there foods you miss enjoying because of loose or missing teeth? At Fleur Stanger DDS, we understand the joy of savoring every bite. Serving all of Orange County, our team of dedicated professionals are here to guide you towards a healthier, happier smile. And we will give you the best solution to improve your oral health. Call us today at 949-830-0074 for a free exam and consultation. Rediscover the pleasure of eating and smiling. Call Fleur Stanger DDS today.
All right, before we go, we're going to take a quick look at the Friday movie, and it's a good one. It's a classic, 84 Charing Cross Road with Anne Bancroft and Anthony Hopkins, brought to us by Pacific Financial Planners at 2 p.m. with the subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. It is a humorous scriptwriter in New York. Apartment sees an ad for a Saturday review of literature from a bookstore in London that does mail order, and she begins a very special correspondent with the bookseller out there in London, and that is the name of that game. It's actually based on a true story. So hope you enjoy our Friday movie. That's going to do it for this edition of This Day. Hope you had a great one.